You're back.
Okay. Not,
I'm
hopefully
so
not on my
excited
end.
to be on with you. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, I'm so excited to have you here, and I know we have a very limited amount of time. So, as much as I want to exchange all kinds of niceties with you, um, we got to jump into it. But I'm so glad that you're here. This is great. I was at a town hall with my representative Jimmy Gomez right
Oh,
before this.
great.
I know he's awesome,
He
and
is
now
awesome.
we're here.
Dad's Caucus.
What's that?
He's the founder of the Dad's
I
Caucus.
know, and I think the Dad's Caucus is maybe about to take to the road. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, but I think
Good.
they're about to go out and talk about being dads, and he's also great on renting and so many great things. So, and I want to tell you also that I was on I was speaking for a Dem club in your district yesterday, and I'm going to blank on the Dem club now. But I said, "What do you guys think about Rep Clark?" And they said, "We love her. They love you." So that was really nice to see. Your constituents really love you a lot. Are you still there?
I'm back. I
Hi.
heard you, and thank you for coming to
Oh,
MA5.
good. I'm
And
so glad. Well, that's all that matters. Good. I'm glad. So, and then one thing before we start, I've been telling people I'm going to be interviewing Whip Clark, and I don't think that most people know what a whip does.
yeah,
And I think it's honestly probably one of the most important jobs in the entire Democratic caucus. You are the highest woman in leadership in the Democratic House caucus, which is amazing in and of itself, great progressive. But can you just, in 2 seconds, explain to people what a whip does? Why do we refer to you as Whip Clark?
well, I actually whip the vote. So my job is to make sure that we have members in the chamber and that they are voting in unison with a united front on the issues that we care about. When we decide to whip a bill, we are whipping all yes or all no. And my job is to reach across our broad caucus and make sure that we are there showing how unified we are. And you've seen it on display most recently with our unity around saying no to the budget and the horrible Medicaid cuts that they're proposing, and cuts to our veterans benefits and food programs and public schools. And then we were unified against the budget extension, the CR that came up, saying that it's not acceptable to us, the takeover that we are seeing from the Trump administration and the stealing of tax dollars from deserving taxpayers who work hard for their living, paying over their fair share in taxes, and then taking that money and the services they deserve and giving it to the billionaire class. So that's my
Yeah.
job, making sure we're there and voting together.
Yeah.
And that's a real strength of the House members in this caucus, and it's a fantastic job to have.
And it's an important job. And if you study history at all, I mean, Nancy Pelosi famously very good at whipping votes. Lyndon Johnson famously amazing at whipping votes over in the Senate. So, a good vote whipper is important. And we were all really thrilled to see Democrats unify, with one exception in the House, against that continuing resolution. And obviously, there was a lot of disappointment and heartbreak even over on the Senate side. It was just crushing for us to see the Senate, the Democrats fold over there. But for the House, we want to thank you for holding together as a caucus. We have a very limited amount of time, so I want to talk about what's really on people's minds, which are the attacks on, Doge. First of all, basically a not even a really legitimate agency, right? Needs to
Right.
be approved by Congress, hasn't been, and yet is going and just taking a wrecking ball to Social Security, to our national parks, to USAID. I don't need to tell you.
Yeah.
But why are they doing it? What are they? They're not saving money. We also know this. We know
No,
that like the IRS alone is going to hemorrhage something like what, $500 billion.
that's
We're
right.
losing money. So
We are losing, we are
why are they doing it?
money
Yeah.
in because it was never about creating efficiency. If it was about creating efficiency, Elon Musk and the musketeers that are in our agencies looking into our most secure databases at our private information, they would be helping us improve technology, helping us update these antiquated systems that are at the core of federal services so we could serve people better,
Yeah.
make their tax dollars go faster, have it easier to enroll, all sorts of things they could be doing that we would join and applaud. But that's not the game. The game here is one of greed. And it is about a fundamental lie to the American people that this administration was going to come in and help lower costs.
Yeah.
They are doing everything to actually, you know, ruin the economy and increase costs. Yeah. You do not say you're concerned about the cost of eggs and then cut $26 million for the inspectors who go out and help prevent bird flu and avian flu that is driving all of this and may very well jump to humans if we're not careful.
Right.
This is all about just amassing power and wealth for those who already have so much of both. And this is an administration that is running on pure greed and is using Elon Musk and his literal chainsaw to just cut through all these programs that people depend on. And so whether it's cancer research or food programs or our public schools, all of this is coming home to the very people who are most vulnerable and are the ones who are working so hard to try and provide for their families and just want a little breathing room to be able to get ahead. And it is as cruel as it is careless with people's lives. And then we have the House GOP that may talk about things at home that they don't think these cuts to Medicaid are a good idea. But then they come in and they vote in lockstep. So I don't care anymore what they may feel about the president, what they say in private. What matters is who's standing up.
Right.
And you are seeing American people across this country standing up and joining this fight and realizing that it has to be more than people in Washington, D.C. It has to be all of us together. And that's what I so appreciate about you and your newsletter, giving people action items that they can go and do. And it can be something small and simple. If you're new to this and you're not really sure about politics is the thing you want to get involved in, to going all in on electoral politics. But we need all of it. And we have to amplify the message about what is happening here. And this is taking a system that wasn't working for most American families in the first place and doing everything in Trump's power to make that even worse.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of questions, and there have been a lot of questions, just why is Doge not being stopped? And I think it's important to emphasize the fact that, again, Democrats, and you guys say this a lot, but you're all in the minority, right? So I think Democrats, if they were in the majority in both the Senate and the House, this would be done. Like, it would be done, right? There would be hearings, and Doge would not have the power that it does. But unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, Republicans being in the majority, they can stop it. They are choosing not to. Right?
Could stop this today.
Right.
They stopped it on January 20th.
Yeah.
But they've chosen not to. And so that really brings us to what is our strategy, because we share and feel this. I sort of describe myself as this simmering pot of rage at all times and urgency of now. We can lose everything in this country.
Yeah.
This is a very real outcome that we have to avoid. Yeah. And so we have really got a three-pronged strategy. And first, when you have people acting illegally, as President Trump is doing with these executive orders, when you have Doge illegally going in and dismantling agencies and services and funding and breaking contracts and ending unions and collective bargaining, you have to use the courts. That has to be our first place that we go to stop their illegal and unconstitutional actions. And I am so proud of our Democratic AGs who are just the tip of the spear and doing an excellent job. And then we are joining with other groups like Democracy Forward that is just there every step. And there are so many more. And while we are seeing this acquiescence and caving in and cowardice from some of the biggest, most prestigious law firms. These lawyers who are getting up every day and helping us file, and we don't often have standing to bring these suits ourselves as members of Congress, but they are coming in and doing this work. And then we are collecting the stories from people in our communities that not only translate what these budget cuts mean to people at home, but are also helping us root out when they are not complying with the court orders that are in place. And I know that people are so concerned that ultimately they're not going to comply with any of it.
Yeah.
But right now we have to do both things. We have to take them to court. We are winning in court. We have to continue to hold them accountable, and we have to continue to make sure we are protecting the federal courts and their power. We're going to have a bill on the floor this week that is the Republicans are proposing that federal judges cannot do the kind of relief and orders that we need on a national level,
right,
that they be restricted to their districts. That is an outrageous power grab because they are losing in court.
Especially because they've been using that judge in Matthew Kazmarek in Texas to get everything they want done on a national level. So it's like
they are they love a good forum shop when it comes to taking away fundamental reproductive rights and a host of other rights for people.
Right.
So how, this is the separation of power is how our Constitution is designed. But our next step has to be Congress. We've got the courts, and then in Congress we have to do what you have seen from House Democrats. Come together around these bills, be the stick and the spokes, and use our ability. If they won't let us have the witnesses that we want, if they won't be fact-based in their hearings, we've started our own hearings. Bring our own experts and witnesses.
Good.
We've already Medicaid and food programs and SNAP. This coming Tuesday, it's going to be Social Security because we are seeing them just dismantle it. I think it's your, death by 1,000 cuts. Social Security. So let's get those facts out about what it means when you say you can no longer call us on the telephone.
Yeah. And where can people watch those hearings? Because I think one of the frustrations, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, that there's just been an enormous amount of frustration with Democratic leadership. It's been really hard. And one of the frustrations, I think, even for me, is that, like, I've seen Leader Jeffries, for example, he does a lot of press conferences. And that's great, but, like, I don't think most people watch press conferences. So, and I'm not sure where we can see these hearings. I'd like to know, because I'd like to watch them, but where can people see this stuff? They want to see it somewhere where they are. Where is that?
So you can live stream it from the leaders' website. We will have the information in my bio too, so that people know. It'll be Tuesday at 3 o'clock
Great
time. And so we want people to watch. And then we are going to have one more in Washington on veterans benefits. And then we're on the road, and we will be publicizing that schedule so that we can go to people's districts and hear and be able to interact and hear not only members of Congress, but our witnesses and the experts who can help put together what is happening for people. And it's the same thing we're doing with town halls. Not only are we holding hundreds in our Democratic districts, but we're also moving and organizing in Republican districts so that they are hiding behind, at home and saying, I'm not coming out and meeting with my constituents because they sure seem mighty mad. We're going to go there. And you know what? These town halls, I hear a lot of frustration. I hear anger. And can you blame anybody?
No.
Can you blame anybody? People worked so hard to win in 2024. And instead, we've been handed this administration that is betraying the people who did believe in him, who did say, we don't think that anybody else is seeing us and fighting for us. So we're taking a hard look in the mirror on how we have to do better. And we're also trying to connect in ways that we haven't before. But this is, this brings me to my third point is it's the courts, it's Congress, and it's community. And it's getting out there and mobilizing. And that's why we're doing these town halls, days of action around Medicaid. And we need to amplify it all. We have a president who commands not only the greatest bully pulpit in our country, but he knows how to garner attention. Good or bad, he doesn't care. He garners it all. And we have to fight through that. And we need people to help us amplify and really continue to push us, continue to show that you are involved and you're not going away and you're not going to be tired down by this strategy of chaos, but that we're in this together in this fight for our country and for the fundamentals of making sure that the American dream still remains something that means something and that there is opportunity for everyone in this country. And they are just systematically dismantling those fundamentals and that ability for people to put the pieces together and have success. Maybe take a vacation, buy a house, have a car that works. These basic things that people and families need that are all being taken and into a billionaire class.
Right, yeah. It's just so terrible for the economy on every level. I mean, when you start feeling insecure about your own Social Security check or Medicaid check, you're not going to shop. You're not going to go out. Yeah. So then there's this consumer confidence being at a 12-year low. Not an accident. I mean,
on the market today, another big loss in the market. And while most Americans are not in the stock market, it is an indicator of the chaos and really, just this complete disregard for the people and what they are dealing with. And that was the message we got loud and clear from the election. You have to see us and fight for us. And he sold them a false bill of goods. And we have to be here and be solidly in the corner and channeling the frustration and anger that we feel as well as we are hearing from our constituents.
Yeah, and also letting more tuned out people know, like, hey, this is fascism, what's happening now. Right. You need to pay attention. It's not just bad for your pocketbook, it's fascism, and that's bad for everything. So one thing before you go, because I know you have to go soon, I do a newsletter where I tell people to call their reps, and I do videos where I tell people to call their reps, and I get a lot of like, does this even work? Is this even, are they getting our calls? Are they getting our messages? So you're a representative. I would love to hear you address that. Are you getting the calls? Do they work?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, my staff always updates me, and we can hear the phones ringing, and it comes in sometimes emails, calls, but we keep track of that, and we know the sentiment. And I can tell you that we have received some of the largest volume of calls around what Trump and Doge are doing to our country, what they're doing to our economy, what they're doing to our allies and place in the world, that I have received on any topic. Goes back, the only thing that comes close was when we heard about taking healthcare away for this same playbook in 2017. Right. And it works. And we have to keep it up, and we have to follow up that with like days of action that we're seeing on April 5th. We have to go to those town halls. We have to reach out. We have to be amplifying on social media. We have to be doing everything we can so that when our grandchildren ask us what we did in this time, we can tell them the ways that we stopped this, and the ways we saved our democracy, and the way that we returned the power in this country to the people of this country.
100%. Thank you very much for that. That's amazing. The people are doing our part. So we are just, you guys do your part, we'll do ours. And I don't think that you can possibly fight too hard or be too tough and confrontational Bring the fire. We want it. We need it. We see what's happening. We don't want people abducted off the streets, by the way. That's another thing that's really, really,
Uh,
really upsetting.
and you know that has happened right here in my neighborhood, in my district. I share Tufts University with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and you know we cannot. We all have to speak out on this.
Yeah.
What you think of somebody's political speech, to have people disappear off of our streets without charges, without due process, is something that is so bone
Yeah.
chilling
Yeah.
and should be a stark wake up.
Yeah.
It may start with students who are here on legal visas,
Mm.
but it will not end there.
Yeah.
It will
No.
not end. And
Yeah.
so, you know, whatever we may think of the speech, we have to be as robust in protecting them and calling this out. It is absolutely chilling to watch. And we know it is about intimidation.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it with media outlets, we're seeing it with large law firms, and we're seeing it trying to use and make examples of these students so that we all just acquiesce and give up our rights under the Constitution, the right to free speech, the right to gather, and the right to have our shot at the American dream. It is all coming together, and it is all part of their playbook. They've written it down, they're enacting it, and we have to be the ones to band together and stop them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the hard work you're doing. I appreciate all of your fighting for our healthcare and our Social Security and Medicare, all the rest of it. Please keep fighting for the abducted students. I think we're all really upset about that, obviously. And just thank you for everything you're doing. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I really want people to get to know you and get to know the rest of their leadership a little bit. So anytime you want to come talk, let me know.
All right, I'll be back, Jessica. And
Good.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
and your great newsletter.
Thank you, Whit Clark. I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Thanks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good day. I'll put this up so people can watch the video.
Okay, great.
Bye.